Today we have Wicked's newest full-time company member, Jackie Raye, talking all about women's health in the entertainment industry. I'm Haley Herman, and this is Broadway Lectures. All right. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Jackie.
Hey, girl, hey.
Thank you so much for coming onto Broadway Lectures. I just want to know everything about you. You have a wonderful background.
Oh.
Tell me everything.
Well, hi. It's so good to talk to you. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
I just feel like really encouraged whenever there's spaces that are, safe for women to talk in this industry. And I'm just really excited to talk to you this morning. Well, I'm Jackie. It's nice to meet you. I'm Jackie Raye. And my funny story is always everyone's like, Jackie Raye, what's your last name, girl? And I'm like, it's Raye.
It's Raye.
And I've had this so many times, and they go, Jackie Raye? You have two, and they think it's like a middle name and then a double. And I'm always like, no. But no, it's just Jackie Raye. That's my last name. And I am originally from Georgia. So born and raised in the South, and that's when I fell in love with theater. She will kill me, so I always have to plug her. I always do. Hunter Ashley, if you're listening, hello.
Listen out.
She was the very, very outgoing younger child, and I was the very, very shy, reserved child. Oh yeah, would not want to speak, would not want to talk. I truly hid from adults, and I was so confident playing by myself, to the fact that my mother was like, don't you want to play with your little sister? No? Okay, you're good. And I was just so shy, but there was always an internal vibration inside of me being like, you need to be brave, and I couldn't understand how. Right. So I remember very vividly, my sister was a dancer from the time she was very little. Sweet. So I was in 4th grade, and she was in maybe 1st or kindergarten, and she's up there in her jazz tap combo, killing the game. And I just remember sitting in the audience of this recital, and I watched these older dancers perform, and I just saw my future. I know it sounds very woo-woo, but disclaimer, I am a little woo-woo. So it's I just saw my future, and I felt my future, and I felt an inner voice being like, this is the time to be brave. Mm-hmm. And I just remember feeling shook to my core as a 4th grader. But I'm still so scared of everything, and I haven't busted out yet. No. So I was a really late bloomer in theater because I was so scared and I was so shy. I know. And what's funny is I feel like a lot of people in our industry also have that testimony. It's we are naturally more reserved people, but then on stage, we just kind of release the beast, or my mother calls it my alter ego. She's always like, when you're dancing, that's not Jackie anymore. She's left the building.
Is there a name?
No, but I feel like her name would be Sheila.
Okay.
Sheila Raye, right? She's on Wicked, not Jackie.
No,
I couldn't possibly.
Talk that.
Anyway, so I really, I took a lot of private lessons when I was in 7th and 8th grade. And by the time I was in 9th grade, I was already caught up to my dance team that were already that age group. So I just caught up by 2 years of privates. I did my first musical in 8th grade. I was a brainiac in High School Musical.
Yeah, you were.
So then it's the theater bug hits me. It's it all encompassed me, and that's what I wanted, and that's what happened. I was really hungry, and I feel like you're in the theater space too, and you see a lot of people leave the industry or leave what they love. And I think my testimony aligns with the fact that I wanted to do it. My parents didn't put me in jazz tap combo. Yep. I was like, there's a fire, and I have to go after what makes me happy. Mm-hmm. I didn't care about algebra. I was tapping under my seat. And I know a lot of us have that testimony. So high school was very much all competition dance and doing the musicals at school and doing a community theater that was insanely good. Beautiful. And I just saw that in college. Mm-hmm. And so my parents were so supportive, and I'm so blessed to have had that, because I know so many of our wonderful peers, unfortunately, there's a stigma about arts and making money and stability, which now in my 30s, I understand, but I think there's a delicate, beautiful conversation to have there about how to support and encourage, but also ground. And luckily, I do think that was my story. So I never had any type of fear of pursuing this in college. So I did the whole college audition thing, and I wound up in Texas at Texas Christian University as a musical theater major. And it's always funny. I tell them this every time, my professors I'm still in touch with. I was so like sad to go to Texas at 18. I was like, that's so far away from New York. I'm never gonna be on the Broadway. I can't do this. Like what? No cowboy boots. I don't understand. And it ended up being one of the biggest blessings in my life. To be in a space that was not a conservatory. I thought I wanted a conservatory, but I ended up really responding well to a liberal arts school because I feel my life has been this delicate balance of like immersed totally in our art and in theater, but also having like, it's like you divide my body in half. Also having a space where I have friends that are not in the industry. I have people that are not in the industry. I have interests that are outside of the industry. And it's made me a really well-knit human.
Yeah.
And I think that seed started at 18 to 22 at TCU because I got to be in a sorority. I got to go to football games. I got to, do normal college things. But in my opinion, and it ended up being just like a really beautiful conservatory type training, but in a liberal arts fashion. So yeah, so they have a senior showcase like lots of these programs now, and I ended up getting an agent and moving to New York very quickly. And so yeah, so just kind of going over that little, the resume. That's the least important thing about me, but do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it's like I joke, but yeah, I remember my first audition in New York at 22 was for Disney Cruise Line,
There you go.
and I booked that.
Yes, you did. Yes,
But then
you
I also
did.
was like, wait a minute, now I have to leave New York and I have to be on a boat.
I was just in Texas and
Bro.
now I have to leave again.
Seriously, that's exactly what I thought. And I was like, what did I do to deserve this? But again, when in doubt, you are probably where you were supposed to be for a reason.
Yes.
And I know it's like I feel like a wise old Nona right now, and I'm literally only 31. But it's funny that our experiences really do mirror you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Which when I did a chorus line in 2018, which is one of my favorite theatrical experiences I've done, I did it with Mitzi Hamilton, who was in the original company of A Chorus Line. And when we learned the show, she teaches, if you've done A Chorus Line with Mitzi, you do a long day of choreography and rehearsal, and then at the end of the day, she devotes 30 minutes to a quote unquote tape session like they did in A Chorus Line creation back in the day, because that's what they did is they sat around with wine and cigarettes and they talked about their stories and they recorded it on tape. And that's how Marvin Hamlish and Michael Bennett created A Chorus Line. So when we did A Chorus Line, Mitzi wanted to mirror that experience. So I just vividly remember her saying, as a dancer, as a performer, have faith because you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And that is like a huge like nugget of just truth and something to hang on to in those seasons as a performer of quietness and doubt and nothingness is you're exactly where you're supposed to be. So then it's kind of like I did some regional stuff for a couple months. I had a vocal injury kind of sprinkled in that season. So I healed from that.
Yeah.
And very quickly, I booked Wicked. And that is a really crazy story if you want to hear it.
I would love to
Oh,
hear
my
it.
Lord.
Tell me,
It's
tell me
just
everything.
I don't know how else to encourage. I am here to encourage, be brave and go after what you want because this industry doesn't give it to you. So what do I have to do to stand out? What do I have to do to fight for myself and my seat at the table? So I was training behind the scenes. And I got an email blast from the growing studio. And it was like Wicked seminar with like assistant director and music director. It's a 3-part class. One goes, 2 goes, and then I get an email the night before the last class, which was a vocal class with my music director at Wicked. And I get an email from Growing Studio that was like, you're off the wait list. Would you like to come tomorrow? And I'm thinking to myself, like these kids have been in this class for weeks and are more, it's like they've already worked with the director of Wicked. Like they know each other. Like, and something was telling me to do it. I don't know I'm religious. So it was, I feel like it was the Holy Spirit pushing me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be brave now. Like in cursive, like,
Oh no.
yeah. And so I show up the next day, I sing. And then the MD of Wicked looked at me, my dear friend Dan, and said, have you ever been in for Wicked?
Yeah.
Who are you? And I was like, no. And he was like, okay, let's talk after class. So after class, he was like, who have you prepped this material with? Because it's not been any of our team. And I was like, my voice teacher. And he was like, great, I'll see you tomorrow for an audition.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
huge.
so I went in the next day and it just was a series of successful callbacks and I booked the tour. It was crazy. And it
Incredible.
happened so quickly and it felt so right because I was prepared.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like luck meets preparation meets timing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I didn't just make that up. I swear I heard that from someone like Billy Porter or something, but
Love it.
it's true. It's so true. And I think it also feeds young artist souls that if you're working on material you resonate with, I think one day you're going to have that time to actually audition for it. So like be steadfast, be confident in yourself because the world's not going to give you yeses until you give yourself a yes. And then that door comes. So then, I've been in Wicked ever since, and my back hurts. No, I'm so great. I'm so grateful for the vertebra hurting. It's been the most beautiful, I remember singing Wicked on my banister, like when I was a kid. I remember like choreographing things in my bedroom to Dancing Through Life when I was a kid.
Sweet.
And my background in singing is an operatic style of voice. So that was my first, piece into musical theater. Singing was, I studied as a kid at the University of Georgia with this incredible man, Dr. Gregory Broughton. I love you so much. He's incredible. And so my bread and butter was an opera, like more legit style singing. And then in school, I'm really, really trained as an actor, and physical comedy is one of my tools and my tool belts. And it just, I don't know. It's like, so I believed Glenda was a very good fit for me. And you find the opportunities, you fight for yourself. So yeah, so Wicked was beautiful. And it's been this crazy, I'm celebrating 6 years with the show.
That's awesome.
6 long years. And it's crazy too, because I was in the show and the production during the pandemic. So that was a crazy time. Yeah, I joined the show in the summer of 2019. I toured for about 7 months and then we were dismissed for the pandemic. We were in Madison, Wisconsin, and we were off for 16 months. And it was crazy and beautiful. And yeah, we were the first show back actually from the pandemic.
Oh my gosh.
One of our producers is part of the Broadway League, and they decided to bring back a show that they knew was not going to close. So it was Wicked.
Yeah.
So we were the first, and it was the tour, it was not Broadway. And so we opened I think we had some previews at the end of July, and then we opened in August, and and I've been there ever since. So I was on the tour where I was in the ensemble where I covered Glinda and Nessa Rose, and it was just beautiful and perfect. And I left the show last summer, and then I just was told I was going to come here. So I vacation swung for the last year at the Gershwin, and it's been so nice being back in New York after being gone for so long. I always say I'm celebrating 9 years in New York, but 5 of them we're on tour, and one of them we're on a boat. So it's I was away, and so I'm currently in the company as a full-time company member. So yeah,
just happened.
I know
There
it just
it
happened.
is.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
Of
much.
course.
Thank you so much. So that's kind of me.
That's
kind
I
of
love
me.
It. I love it. What a beautiful background. And
Thanks.
you mentioned your health thing. I would love to circle back to
let's
your
talk,
health
girl.
journey. Women's health in the industry is kind of the
boy.
main topic that we're going to talk about today. Would love to see how that connects with your journey as a whole.
I always ask people in this industry, like, if you could pivot, what would you do? Because I feel like that would inform me about their soul, about who they are, apart from your resume, like what I just said. You know, this is like the why of us, of humans.
Yeah.
And well, first of all, my background with my nuclear family, my mother and father, is my mother got her master's in exercise and physiology. And she was personal trainer, a step teacher, a cycle teacher. She opened gyms, and health and wellness was something that was a pillar of my family growing up. And she was an almond mom, I think, as the kids are saying now. Like, I always see, like, my almond mom road trip snacks. I love those TikToks because I'm like, that was my girl. Shout out to Jackie Raye. Love you literally so much. And my dad was a college football coach.
Oh, nice.
So they bonded by going to the gym. They bonded by really taking care of their bodies. And so I watched as a kid 2 parents really, really take care of themselves, mind, body, soul. So that's like the inner wovings of me.
Yeah.
I already have a really, really beautiful compass to know like, and when I'm in unhealthy territory or when I'm not. And I'm very, very thankful for that.
Yeah,
Because when
absolutely.
I have conversations with people about this topic, it's really, really surprising how some individuals have no compass. And that's no disrespect, but that's just the reality of health and wellness might not be a pillar to a family. And that's okay. But that's just, that's the nature of what I love to discuss and how I love to help biological and trans women. It's just like, man, we really have to protect women. We really, of all shapes and sizes. And I'm very, very
Yes.
passionate about that because of the lack of research of women's health. So,
Right.
anyway, so going back to my, my little, how it aligns and weaves with my resume and my being a performer, but navigating feeling chronically ill.
Yeah.
I think it was 2019 or so, I just started feeling off, and that's how all the stories go. If you start listening to women, they start going, I didn't feel like myself. And it's quite emotional because there's not really any other way to describe it. When you've been chronically ill, you understand. And you feel like you're in your body, but someone has like a joystick
Yep.
or the car wheel, and they're driving the car, and you're just like there for the ride.
Very out of body.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's quite scary. So I started feeling that way in 2019. I booked Wicked, I booked the tour, and it was a whisper. It was a whisper of, you don't feel right, something's wrong. And by the time we were released for the pandemic, which I feel like a lot of us can say we learned a lot in the pandemic, it was a weird time. It was a really scary time for people, and it was a really sad time for people. But my testimony with that time is, luckily, I didn't have any loved ones pass. I didn't have any family that were affected by COVID. So it was this pausing period of eliminating my why, which is singing, dancing, performing, 8 shows a week. You're up all night. You're sleeping all day, triggering something inside of me. And it wasn't until I stopped, which I'm sure when you stop and an object in motion stays in motion and an object at rest stays at rest, it's like things came out. And I couldn't understand, and I had to be the investigator and detective for me. I had to fight for me. So it's like the insomnia crept in, and I couldn't sleep. I started developing facial hair and more hair on my body. That was really weird. I'm very open about women's health and menstrual health too. So disclaimer, we're going to be using biology words here to discuss women's bodies because it should not be taboo. And so I started menstruating twice a month. I started having 2 periods a month, and I was exhausted. My hair started falling out. I was crying just all the time, and I knew something was wrong. So I wrote all of my symptoms down. This is 2020. Nobody's in New York. And I brought all of my symptoms to an OBGYN because I was like, okay, first things first, I'm bleeding too much. I'm sure I'm anemic. I'm so fatigued. Let's present this with my OBGYN. So she looks at me and I'm sobbing. I have this note and I'm shaking. But I'm here to tell you, you can cry all you want. You are doing the right thing.
Yep.
If you're going to a doctor, holistic doctor, someone in the health and wellness world, and I do want to stress health and wellness world, not influencers on social media, a doctor, of what are my symptoms, and let's get to the cause, because we have individual bodies.
Yeah.
And what works for you, Haley, is not going to work for me.
Yeah.
And you can stress that this helped and this supplement helped or this what, but I am not designed like you. My DNA is different from you. So I can't just, it's a guidepost, I think, what this influencer and social media culture is, but you really have to individually search. So I go to my doctor and she says, your symptoms are presenting with polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I, at the time, had no idea what that was.
Right.
So she was like, let's do an ultrasound of your ovaries and see, what's going on. And sure enough, a classic way that they diagnose PCOS is they call it the string of pearls. And it's basically an underdeveloped egg that hangs on to your ovaries. And so it looks polycystic. And it causes a lot of hormone imbalances, and it causes a lot of stress. So your cortisol raises. So you have out of whack cortisol. I mean, your androgen system is completely out of whack, and so you're developing facial hair, your weight gain. It's just all of a sudden, I'm now understanding why, from a science perspective, why I feel out of my body, because my body got hijacked.
Yes.
Crazy.
That's terrible.
And I feel so fortunate that I was doing all this uncovering when I was paused from the stage.
Right. Because I was about to ask you, how was that while you were doing a show? But it was
but
during
it was
COVID.
in COVID. So
Wow.
I did have some answers by the time I got back to Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got to tell you, I mean, that was 5 years ago. I just now feel like I'm putting my symptoms into remission.
Wow.
It
Congratulations.
took that long. Thank
But
you. That's so
that's a
kind.
journey.
No,
course.
seriously, it's really rare that you hear someone say congratulations about you feeling healthy.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
I know.
We say congratulations about Wicked, but I actually could care less. I just want to feel like Jackie, you know?
Yeah.
And I want to celebrate what goes on behind the scenes, especially women
Yeah.
who really have a lot to fight for
Absolutely.
as we're aging and as we're learning, so many things affect our hormones, so many plastics and toxins and candles and all of these things that are not talked about. And I'm so happy we're having this conversation. But like a friend of mine shared who's in the health space, PCOS wasn't even a term until the late 90s. Excuse me? So
Yeah.
the more and more I feel like I'm called to be very open about this topic, the more and more I learn other women around me have it, or other women around me have endometriosis, like my amazing younger sister. It's everywhere, and I feel like we need to talk about it. I just feel like I've gone through Wicked trying to put my symptoms in remission, and it has. And to answer your question, it's been a learning curve. I've made mistakes, but I've also made some really, really big gains.
Yeah.
And I think it's just our bodies respond so individually. So it's not any disrespect to, because full disclosure, I have the OBGYN, I have that, Western medicine space, but I also had a holistic doctor help and treat because she found Lyme disease. Oh,
No,
my
Jackie.
God. Yeah, girl.
Oh, goodness.
So some things like PCOS, and this is not for everyone. This is just what happened to me.
Yeah.
I wasn't really exhibiting any symptoms of this when I was a child. Basically, I was having irregular periods when I was in grade school and high school and in college. And I think the stigma, and I wonder if you agree with me, is, oh, well, you're going to have, it's weird. And that was the dialogue. And again, I love my mother. I love her. She's an amazing woman and has taught me so much. But that is what it's been. Oh, well, it might be heavy this month. Oh, well, you might not have it this month. You should be having a bleed that doesn't double you over.
Yeah.
You should have a bleed that's not wrecking you, taking you out of school or your job, that's consistent. And if you're not, we need to talk about it. And I just kind of feel like that was what happened.
Yeah.
So I had to do the work myself. And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot along the way. And if I've been in Wicked for, now 6 years, my Wicked now at 31, putting symptoms into remission my schedule, my routine, my habits look so different than when they did at 24 when I joined the show.
Can I ask what some of your habits are? And
Yeah.
your daily rituals?
Absolutely. And again, want to disclose this is what's worked for me because I've worked with a health coach who specializes in PCOS, and that's what we crafted my habits. So again, disclaimer, maybe try these, but again, this was guided by me as somebody who knew me at a metabolic cell level. Some of my habits have included, I am alcohol-free, so I'm sober.
Yeah,
because I've had some blood sugar issues. I was pre-diabetic for a really long time, and this is the first time in 5 years I'm not. I know, it's crazy.
I'm so excited. I'm like, yes, Jackie.
I know. And I will plug her. Her name's Alexia Sabo, and she is a dancer here in New York, and she owns this company called the Breakfast Club. And it's basically a space where she health coaches women who are feeling exactly what I just described off. So love you, Alexia. But basically the habits that we found with her were it's basic health 101. Let's make sure we don't spike blood sugar. Let's make sure that we're eating properly and in alignment with blood sugar spikings. Let's making sure we understand where our carbs are coming from. Let's make sure we understand how valuable it would be to go sugar-free and try to really eliminate refined sugar. And again, she told me this phrase as well, 80-20. 80-20.
Yeah.
So that's been a really big part in my living in New York culture is I don't have to be a monk. I don't have to be at home, not socializing. 80-20. If I can live 80% in my space of my habits, making sure I am so not on my phone before I go to bed and I am reading or I'm listening to music or I'm calm. So I bring whatever that is down after the show. But I have that one night I want to go out a week. It's you can have a life. And I think that's what people are scared about in the health and wellness space is I don't want to change. I'm happy with myself and I'm happy with my life. And I can't see myself doing that. Well, if your doctors are telling you you might have a gluten problem that might be triggering some testosterone markers, really big conversation in the PCOS world. It's a really big, encouragement to go gluten-free with PCOS or something like that. And again, if you want to go 80%, but if someone's birthday and you want that cupcake and you just had a really great couple of successful days, I don't see any problem with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's how I've lived my life for the past 5 years since this diagnosis of just like, how do we get the marker to zero? How do we get the pendulum back? If we're over here, how do we swing it back to normal? And social media has been so beautiful about, I feel like people are shouting now from the rooftops, we need to normalize this and support biological women going through this. But it's also the rhetoric of, I really want people to make sure they go to their doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many people, because we're used to it, it's just, oh, that's a symptom. Figure it out yourself. Or I don't have time to go to a doctor. I don't have time for this.
Please make time.
Make time.
Make time because that's showing up for yourself.
Right.
And once again, like, I just feel like I've been such a more successful human and actress, tying into our industry, tying into Broadway. I can show up to work and not feel fatigued if I'm taking care of myself. If my doctor's appointment trumps that audition I need to go to, it really is the time, especially because this is a whole other topic, but I'm very passionate about it, is healing your body. This is the time in your 20s to heal your body. So it's just, I don't know, I'm so passionate about it. And it's such a scary and emotional topic as it should be because we don't talk about these things.
No.
So I want to talk about these things, you know?
I want to talk to you, like I told you in our little emails. I was like, we can talk about this for hours. And we will. Like, let's find a time. Let's talk about it. Because I love your perspectives. I love your take and just your journey in general.
Thanks.
To close out kind of our conversation for now, I would love to know if you have any advice, wisdom, just final thoughts that you want to share in your time here.
Oh, that's so kind. Well, I know. Isn't it just such a great topic? We can go on for days about it. But I even think opening doors like this, it starts it. And if this podcast can inspire one biological female to go, oh my Lord, that's my story too. I'm feeling that too, then our job is done. And I just, I want to encourage in that space. I think closing markers is surround yourself with a community that supports your goals.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the most healthy version of myself right now, mind, body, spirit, because the individuals in my life celebrate my choices. My partner is sober. We celebrate each other in that space. And you're not alone. And if people are making you feel uncomfortable for the decisions that you're making to better yourself and your future, because I am very, very, very sure I'm right. We aren't healthy for vain reasons. Of course, that's aside. Like looking good down the street. It's just like a perk of being metabolically healthy.
Yeah.
But if you're metabolically healthy, you're a better sister. You're a better daughter. And when your parents need you one day, you can lift them up the stairs. You are buying time if you choose your health. And I feel like we just don't talk about that enough. In this industry, it's all about looking the best, taking these GLP-1s. Like it's just, you need to get healthy so that you have time. And when you have time, that is a currency to give to the loved ones that love you and want you around. So if you're healthy, you're not only loving yourself, it's a way you show love to other people that love you and want you around. So it's just, I feel like that's just not talked about
Yeah.
I feel like all this industry wants us to do is be fierce,
Yep.
and like go get your injections and go get your things. And like I heard this on a podcast. I know we've beefed over rap, but I heard this on it wasn't a podcast. It was a stand-up special. Eliza Scherzinger on Netflix.
Yeah.
She's so funny and she loves women like me. And she said this, and this is like a pillar of my friend group. Whatever woman you choose to be, you are right. So this conversation is not to shame people who are now in the Ozempic GLP-1 space. This is not to shame if you love your doctor and you love your new lips. I'm so happy you're happy.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, look at the science, do your research, figure out your why and your internal compass as an artist, and more importantly, as a human. And then you'll make better art because you feel better.
Yes, Jackie, thank you so much. This was such a productive and wonderful conversation. And thank you for joining Broadway Lectures.
Of course. I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you.
Of course. So great to meet you.
This is Jackie Raye. Yes. Thanks.